Okay, I haven't posted for a while, but I have made some good progress on the bellows for the VK machine. Um, this is my current model, vacuum formed here. um, and they go about that high and come down. I'll demonstrate actually how that works in a moment. But first, I just want to see how it's show how it's tied together on the bottom. You have the servo motor here with this arm. I do plan on adding a little bearing on the end of this just to make it a little smoother, but for now it's not really necessary. Then underneath, I ran it's basically a very strong thread. I'm not sure, it's some type of like industrial nylon, and ran it through each level, which you can see in here. And then at the very bottom, I glued the two on just to stop it from moving. And, well, I had to add a little special piece at the top to actually get it locked in, but I can't, without cutting the threads, I can't really show that. One thing I had been concerned about was how to hinge the bellows at this back portion. I got some suggestions on Prop Summit, one from Jobert, that the original, they had scored it across here to make an actual bend in that, but I was concerned that that could fatigue over time and just crack in half. And I did think about putting in some essentially like rubber silicone type hinges I've seen on some types of cabinets, but couldn't really find those, and I thought I would just try one other thing, which is what seems to be working. If you can see into this, right in the back, there's actually two posts here, which these two screws actually go through those posts. For right now, I just used aluminum hollow cylinders in here. I'd prefer to use nylon, but I just didn't have any on hand. But that acts as where as far back as it can go. And then once they're slotted in, and it leaves just a little bit of extra space for them, and fits right in there. The only thing I had to add additionally to make sure it actually worked the way I wanted it to, I didn't count on them trying to pivot sideways during movement. But as it is now, I had added this little block here and the same thing on the opposite side that just basically act as stays. This isn't the final assembly because it has to be permanently affixed to the front here. But as it is now, it raises up and back down, and it gets very even movement. This is an Arduino Pro Mini. I probably don't really need something that has as many pins as this, but just in testing, I've been using it because they're fairly inexpensive and pretty easy to work with, and really requires just the one data pin. It's this one going to the servo, and the two voltage pins going to the servo. This actually isn't, for right now, I don't have it hooked up to the external voltage supply. And for those curious, this is just a programmer, and that doesn't stay on generally when it's working. But I still have to reflash the code on here, which I will do in just a minute. Okay, I've got it reassembled and I uploaded the code to the board here. I will say I am still tweaking it to get the timing just right. And one thing I just found now was the spacing for the top height. This is a little too wide now. Something got a little loose in there. I don't know. I'm going to have to go back and fix that, and they're sort of a pain. But just to get something up and show you guys, I will keep it the way it is now, and my next update I'll get that fixed, as well as include the technical details, the code I have so far, and hopefully a side-by-side view of these bellows against the movement in the movie, because that's the objective. Well, here we go. I just have one power line going in now. Oop. There we go. And I may need to add a little weight to these because it's still staying with a little bit of a shaky movement, even though I've had to use some crazy libraries to control the servo movement to get it slow enough and smooth enough. And while that's working, it's still a little shaky, but generally with a little more, well, we'll see. I'll start adding some washers or something underneath the top bellows and see if that can smooth it out a little bit. But this is what I got so far. Hope you guys like it.